The film opens with Jenna waking up to her mother's gentle knock on the bedroom door. Her mom invites her to breakfast, and reluctantly, Jenna gets out of bed. As they sit at the breakfast table, her mother inquires about Jenna's life plans. Jenna avoids answering, which frustrates her mother. Eventually, her mom confronts her for wasting her life away. She encourages Jenna to return to New York, acknowledging the difficulty of dealing with a 10-year relationship breakup. Despite their love, Jenna's presence is affecting her parents' personal lives. Left with no other option, Jenna heads back to New York. After landing, Jenna gazes up at the towering buildings and bustling streets, people hurrying to their destinations. Overwhelmed, she takes a deep breath and heads back to her old Brooklyn apartment, determined to redecorate it. The following day, she visits the office of her arch-rival Darcy, who runs Darine, a fashion magazine. Jenna boldly asks for a job as a beauty journalist. Darcy, still harboring resentment from the past, accuses Jenna of stealing her boyfriend and comments on her highly publicized breakup. Jenna remains composed, recognizing Darcy's attempt to get back at her. She subtly points out that Darcy isn't thriving. This revelation gives Darcy pause. She knows she needs Jenna's talent, and vice versa. However, unwilling to surrender easily, Darcy challenges Jenna to ask nicely for the job. Jenna complies, formally requesting the position, and eventually, Darcy agrees. Once re-employed, Jenna senses a resurgence following the highly publicized split from her previous partner. That evening, accompanied by her two closest companions, she joins in the revelries. While her friends immerse themselves in the festivities, Jenna steps aside in search of a moment of solitude. Leaning against a glass pane in a secluded nook, she finally exhales deeply. At that precise moment, a young man approaches her. Introducing himself as Eric, he attempts to engage her in a playful exchange. Initially reciprocating his flirtation, Jenna eventually remarks on his apparent youthfulness, speculating that he might have recently graduated from college. Eric concurs without divulging further details, persisting instead in his flattering remarks, leading to a passionate kiss between them that nearly escalates into a public display of affection. Taken aback, Jenna withdraws, apologizes to Eric, and departs swiftly after rounding up her friends. The following morning, she heads to Darcy for her first day back at work. Darcy introduces Jenna to the team, and in walks Eric. Darcy reveals him as the new videographer, and to Jenna's surprise, her son. She expresses her desire for Jenna to collaborate closely with Eric in generating innovative ideas to revitalize the magazine. Too stunned to formulate a response, Jenna merely nods and smiles until the others exit, leaving her and Eric alone in the room. Suddenly, Eric bursts into laughter at the absurdity of the situation. Jenna sternly warns him to keep their meeting confidential. Her entire career hinges on doing the job right, and she can't afford any risks. She playfully taunts him for being carefree and too young, which irritates Eric. In retaliation, he labels her a cranky old maid. As they work together, their bickering and insult exchanges become routine. A few days later, Jenna's friends tease her about Eric during a market visit. She vents about him, asking them not to even mention his name. At the market, Jenna encounters a designer with remarkable vintage pieces. They chat, and the designer gives Jenna her card, mentioning she frequents the market. Despite their tumultuous relationship, Jenna and Eric continue working together. After a disastrous interview with a celebrity mourning her pet peacock, they argue in the cab. Jenna's harsh words prompt Eric to step out and leave. The next day, Jenna apologizes, but Eric dismisses it, claiming he's moved on. They decide to bury the hatchet and shake hands as friends. During work discussions, they discover a shared love for classic movies. When a person delivers a beautiful designer party dress for Jenna, Eric admires it. Buoyed by their previous interactions, Jenna confides in Eric about hosting a party at her home. Her friends are attempting to set her up with a guy, and she invites Eric, asking him to bring his friends along. As the party unfolds, Jenna's date arrives, a 50-year-old man dressed like a teenager. He engages in odd conversations, including boasting about a coffee art place. When Jenna innocently questions her single status, he turns judgmental. Eric overhears and defends Jenna, leading to an argument. Just as things escalate, Eric's friend suffers a severe allergic reaction, disrupting the entire party. Amid the chaos, Jenna and Eric find themselves alone in the kitchen. They share a laugh over the disastrous blind date. Curious about Jenna's desires beyond romance, Eric asks about her life goals. Jenna describes an old movie scene where an actress unabashedly expresses her love in a church. Jenna longs for that intense, cringe-worthy love that defies convention. Awkward laughter ensues, and Eric admits he understands and approves. Their connection deepens, culminating in an unexpected night together. The following day at work, Jenna has a brilliant idea. She shares it with Eric, emphasizing their shared love for classic movies. Her proposal involves reviving old-fashioned trends by collaborating with a talented designer who can recreate iconic outfits from those films. Eric enthusiastically supports the idea, and they meet with celebrity influencer Remy Ma, a close professional friend of Jenna's. Together, they create an entire layout for the magazine. Later that night, Jenna receives a voicemail from her ex-boyfriend, stirring up emotions. Unexpectedly, Eric surprises Jenna with a spontaneous late-night celebration. He calls her name like Romeo from the street, waiting with a bottle of champagne. They head to the Brooklyn Bridge, discussing their new campaign. Jenna outlines the next steps, but when Eric mentions how well they gel together, Jenna misunderstands, thinking he means a professional partnership. Eric clarifies that he's referring to their relationship. Jenna hesitates, emphasizing the importance of her career and the challenges they'd face due to Darcy's disapproval. She passionately shares her dreams and the role Darine plays in achieving them. Eric argues that they could start their own business, but Jenna insists they need Darine's backing for success. Their conversation reveals their differences, shaped by varying maturity levels and perspectives, and then, amidst it all, Eric makes a joke, leading to an unexpected moment. They end up making out. During another intimate night together, Jenna and Eric reveal their deepest secrets. Eric shares the story behind his tattoo, honoring his late father Otis. Despite their close bond, Eric and Darcy never discuss his father, and Jenna encourages him to create a film celebrating his life. Jenna opens up about her ex, a college sweetheart turned power couple. Realizing they were stagnant, she ended the relationship. At a drive-in, they're caught by a gossip-prone model, an awkward moment. Later, Jenna reads an article where her ex, Brian, publicly misses her. Darcy visits Jenna's office, praising their project and warning about Eric's crush. She emphasizes the risk to Jenna's career. Despite the caution, Jenna and Eric's connection grows, evident to colleagues and friends. As their campaign achieves remarkable success, with ads gracing Times Square billboards and garnering millions of impressions, Darcy is elated. However, in their personal lives, Jenna and Eric are treading a delicate line, playing footsie during meetings and engaging in secret rendezvous. They both agree to keep their relationship under wraps, despite Eric's willingness to share it publicly. Yet when they attend Jenna's niece's birthday party together, Eric steps up as the event photographer. Jenna's sister playfully teases him, and Jenna maintains the facade that they're merely colleagues. At the party, Jenna's niece pulls Eric away to take pictures with her, while Jenna observes from a distance. Eric captures shots of the little ballerinas, and their teacher, a friend of Eric's, approaches. They hug. Eric then orchestrates a group photo with the girls, clicking pictures of the entire troupe. Jenna watches, noticing how effortlessly Eric bonds with the teacher, who happens to be younger and closer to his age. Jealousy creeps in. Jenna approaches them, introducing herself. After the teacher leaves, she playfully teases Eric, but he grows annoyed. Their argument escalates until Eric reminds Jenna that they're at a children's party and that it was her idea to keep their relationship a secret. He walks away, leaving Jenna frustrated and angry. Eric, too, is tired of the secrecy. Later that evening, Jenna arrives home to find Brian, her ex-boyfriend, waiting unexpectedly. His presence surprises her, and he apologizes, asking for a chance to talk. Despite Jenna's initial refusal, Brian reveals that his mother passed away that day and shares how Jenna was her favorite until the end. Touched, Jenna comforts him as a friend and agrees to go for a walk to help him mourn. As they leave, Eric, on his way to apologize, spots them walking together and misunderstands the situation. After their long walk, Jenna drops Brian off at his apartment. He comments on the emptiness without her, subtly taunting her about dating Darcy's son during her midlife crisis. Jenna corrects him, emphasizing her love for Brooklyn and expressing relief that they're no longer together. Brian, on the verge of lashing out, predicts her fling won't last. Undeterred, Jenna insists on making things work with Eric. The following day at work, Jenna learns that Eric has taken a sick day. Concerned, she decides to visit him at the home he shares with Darcy. A bold move given their secret relationship. Upon arrival, she finds Eric alone, and they clarify the misunderstanding. Jenna shares her worries about missing a career opportunity, and unexpectedly, they start making out in Darcy's living room. Predictably, Darcy walks in, shocked and appalled. Furious, Darcy confronts Jenna, reminding her of their previous warning not to pursue anything personal with Eric. Eric, stunned and hurt, realizes they discussed him behind his back. When he tries to speak, Darcy dismisses him, calling him a child. Despite his hurt feelings, Eric remains silent. Darcy insults Jenna and demands she leave her son's life. Jenna looks at Eric, but he avoids her gaze, upset. Ultimately, Darcy fires Jenna. Months pass, and Eric, now hauling a Christmas tree home, decides to shoot a film about his father, titled Finding Otis. One day, he receives a voicemail from Jenna, inviting him to meet. Excited, he rushes to the restaurant, only to notice Jenna's changed hairstyle, assuming she wants to reconcile. Eric's excitement fills the air as he shares news of his film project, a tribute to his late father, Otis. Jenna mirrors his joy, revealing her surprise. She's landed a fashion and film course at Columbia. Teaching feels like her true calling, and she radiates fulfillment. But then, she hands Eric a sonogram picture, revealing their unexpected news. They're expecting a baby. Eric's shock leaves him speechless, and Jenna's annoyance grows as he becomes defensive. She reassures him that she doesn't expect anything, but his anger flares. He needs time to process it all. As Jenna defends herself, Eric pleads for space. He warns her not to decide for him, echoing his mother's influence. Jenna agrees, allowing him time. As Eric walks away, Jenna's tears fall, uncertain of their future. A few weeks later, Jenna finds herself on a call with her mom. They discuss Eric, and Jenna defends him, though she's upset that he hasn't called. Her mom offers to help once the baby arrives. Just then, the doorbell rings, and Jenna disconnects the call. To her shock, it's Darcy at the door. Darcy launches into a rant, taunting Jenna and expressing disappointment about Eric making a film about his father, Otis. Jenna argues that Eric should be allowed to follow his path. Frustrated, Darcy reveals their family history, how she married Eric's father against her parents' wishes, and how he was tragically murdered when Eric was a baby. Now, as a mom-to-be, Jenna begins to understand Darcy's perspective. Since then, it's been Jenna and Eric against the world. Darcy, emotional but resolute, insists she won't allow her grandchild to grow up in chaos. Jenna sympathizes, but Darcy won't budge. She shares her lesson. History shouldn't repeat itself, and despite the craziness, they won't have a family feud. Jenna realizes that expecting Eric's baby means their family for life. The next day, at a doctor's appointment, Jenna envies other expecting couples. Unexpectedly, Eric arrives. Darcy sends him. Jenna's happiness and frustration collide. Together, they walk into the doctor's office. During a sonography session, Eric and Jenna joyfully witness their baby boy on the screen. Overwhelmed with emotion, Jenna suggests naming him Otis after Eric's father, and decides on a double-barreled last name. Eric surprises her with an envelope supposedly containing a paternity test from Darcy, which turns out to be tickets to Darine's gala, where he invites her as his date. At the gala, Jenna, with Eric's support, impresses everyone with her pregnancy glow. Darcy, with a sly smile, approaches them. Jenna confidently talks to reporters about Darine's success, correcting them on her comeback, and instead calling it a perfect discovery. Eric lovingly gazes at her as they share a kiss, signaling the start of their bright future together. And with that, the movie ends. We hope you enjoyed our video. Watch the next recaps on the screen, and don't forget to subscribe for more amazing recaps. See you in the next one.